going, people? Rappelling video. So on the last video, I went ahead. I didn't show this in a video, but I went ahead and put the my tie point up there, tied off in a figure 8 knot. We haven't gone over the figure 8 for an anchor point yet. So I got my rappel rope set up. Then I set a second line, kind of right along here. I don't know if you can see that little. I had Smokey zip lining. Where's this little? Where's Smokey's zip line at? Where the hell is this little zip line at? Oh, it's not on a green rope. It's on a brown rope. So if you follow a little brown rope down, see that little zip line with a little D-ring? I hooked my cat up to it. Zip line. It was pretty funny. He's up top there hiding. He's mad at me right now. But if he comes down, I'll strap him up and show you him zip lining. But I digress. So what I wanted to get to here is, you see this little hook right here? I say little hook. See that big old hook right there, that red hook? Maybe I should get to the sideways of it. It'll get a different angle. I've got all this light in here. All right, so this hook is to my lift pulley. Somebody will tell me the technical name there because I screwed it up, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm gonna hook myself up to that. And let me get back just a little bit because it doesn't seem like it wants to. Because I want to demonstrate the knots. So, Rick, why are you going to do that? Because it's kind of a. So let's turn this around. My little emergency thing. So in the last video we talked about webbing. And hell, do I have a couple of here's a little quick draw. Alright, so remember last time we talked about webbing and the water knot. So it pulls along the axis of the knot, the water knot, and then of course we did the overhand knot, which is pretty basic. Run it through, pull it through, and then on this knot, along the axis of the knot, we would hook a D-ring here if we needed to tie this off. So, this is the webbing I was using for Smokey zip line. I'm gonna get some big hate. So, poor Smokey. So, this little piece of webbing here, and anytime you do any type of rappelling or anything, you want to make sure and be confident in your equipment. So a lot of times when I'm starting somebody off new, I show them that, hey, just because we have to do this, you have to be confident that the knot, this is a water knot, I call it the water knot, is the double overhand, the re-threaded overhand. If you go back to the webbing video, you tie an overhand knot and then you re-thread it and follow it through. That gives you this water knot or re-threaded overhand knot. You should have 2 tabs. Remember we talked about the 4 inches, 4 to 6 inches excess. And the reason why you want 4 to 6 inches on this is because when this knot is under pressure before it breaks, this knot will usually give an inch or an inch and a quarter before it breaks. So if you're going to lose this, you want it because the ribbon breaks, not because your knot gave out. So that's why you do the little things. This is a little quick draw. So this is just a loop of ribbon. I call it ribbon. It's technically webbing or rappel webbing or tubular webbing or whatever you want to call it. I just call it ribbon. And so the reason why I do this is this has a water knot. I can double it and use it for something. If my neck was a tree and I want to make a tie-off point, I could put it around, stick a D-ring in here, and this would be my anchor point. And I could literally just rappel off here by sticking a D-ring through here, through all 4 of these, and now I have a rappel point. And I could tie my rope off and then rappel if my neck was a tree. The other thing for this, what I would use something like this for is like for an emergency extraction, or to, if we had to get an injured person or something out of here, we didn't have anything else, and I had to get either one of my guys were injured or something, and I needed to lift him either up the side of the mountain, helicopter, whatever, a real quick release, if you have a loop, is just basically put it around you, and you can cross it if you want to. Step through it, pull it through the legs. I don't know if you guys saw that. Did y'all see that? Ow, shit, son of a bitch, that thing's hard. Ow. So all I did was pull this through my legs. I just stepped through it. So I have a loop for me jump roping. So I'm going to step through it. I'm going to put it behind my back. And there's a lot of ways to tie a quick kind of extract. Hell, I could probably extract it just like this. But the way I'm doing it is a little bit better because I'm crossing it. I'm putting a little cross here for where the D-ring is going to go. I'll step through it, pull it between my legs, and then connect these four with a D-ring. And then if I had to get somebody out of an area just this quick, I can hook this up to here. I didn't really want to put my D-ring on this metal hook, but I will. And then I'm pretty much get him out of here, dumbass shot himself. Whatever the reason is, I pretty much have a lift, and I'm not touching the ground. Somebody's going to go, he's touching the ground. I'm not touching the ground, people. I'm up in the air. So, crazy chains everywhere. I'll just take my hat off, but I was in and outside. So anyway, this is a quick, this also makes sure your knot's good. This is going to crack down the knot. And, I mean, it is what it is. And I can come off of it pretty quick. Again, if I wanted to hook something up very fast, this is why this ribbon with the knot that I trust is so important, because it's got so many freaking uses. Now, I don't have a, gotta make sure your boys ain't in there, but that little cross right there, you don't want them crossing right in the middle of your package. So it should be separated. But it's really not even in my crotch because it's not a, and I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me go down on this just a little bit. It's not really on my crotch area anyway. It's kind of just hanging to where I'm sitting. This is in my back, and I'm pretty much, I've got a way to get somebody out quick. I don't have to tie a special. I don't have to do anything. I have a loop. I'm kind of trapped in here, and I'm good to go. I can lift somebody either through mechanical or through people pulling them. And to get out of it, pretty damn easy. You step out of it. It's easy if you don't have tennis shoes on, it gets caught. And then you're out. So, just one of the many uses of this ribbon or webbing, and that's why I think it's, and it's freaking pretty cheap. It's almost, what, I mean 20, hell, I don't know, I forgot. Maybe 20 or 30 feet, it's like 15, 20 bucks. And I mean, it holds 2,000, 3,000 pounds. That thick stuff that I got, this is 1.5 inches versus this is 1 inch. And this holds, I think, 4,000 pounds. Very strong. Because it's so much thicker, the knot ends up being, this was the bear knot we tied it. I went over the bear knot real quick. I don't have a, let me get a regular knot, a regular water knot on one of my webbings. Here we go. So obviously the bigger webbing you get, the bigger your knots are going to be. This is 1.5 inch webbing. This is inch webbing. So you can tell the difference in the size of the knots. This webbing is kind of old, and it's hell, I don't even think they make it or use it anymore. But it's still strong as shit. I mean, I pull all kind of shit with this webbing. So having these little loops are always handy. Like I said, I can make a quick draw. I can double it, put a D-ring on each side, use that. I can wrap it over something. I can wrap it around something and make a tie-off point. Now, if I made a tie-off point, remember, you don't want your tie-off points on the knot. I need to adjust this so my tie-off point is not with the knot. There. So now the knot is not on the tie-off point or where I'm clipping in. Remember, the knot is the weak point on the ribbon. When you tie something, either a rope or ribbon, you're losing anywhere from 20 to 30, 40% sometime with the knot, which is why you don't want to use ribbon that's, you know, rated for your weight. You know, let's say for somebody repelling or something, we'll just say 250 pounds for a person. Max, gear, everything, we're going to say 250 pounds. Well, you don't want to use ribbon at 250 pounds because when you put a knot on it, now the ribbon is maybe only worth 150 to 175. And, you know, so that's why the ribbon is usually, or your webbing is usually, you know, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. Because then when you lose it with a knot, you're only going to have a person on it, you're still way above the breaking strength of your things. So I wanted to do the quick ribbon or webbing uses and how to test your knot. Me hanging on this knot tells me that it'll hold me. If I had a new person, I would make them tie knots, do this, and then I would hang on something and swing it. And I want them to get used to the D-ring, the carabiner, the webbing, your knot, all your stuff. That builds confidence. So because I went over the webbing knots, and that's pretty much the knots we're going to use, is the water knot, which is a rethreaded overhand, or the overhand knot for webbing. Those are basically the two knots. Now I can make a Prusik knot over this, but we haven't got to that knot yet. So I'm going to do another video now. We'll end that one on the use of webbing, testing your knots, etc. I can do the same thing with this beer knot. You know, when I tied this beer knot, I have to thread it all the way in there, make the knot, and then thread it on the other side, and you know, where it's inside, and then the knot kind of clips on itself. So again, if I want to test this knot to make sure it's working, I can put it on a tie-off point and either sit in it. Let me see if I can sit in this. Make a little swing here. Yeah, there we go. So now I can test this knot because I know my knot's holding. And again, building trust in your webbing, understanding that your knot's going to hold. If you tie it right, it's just going to cinch down, it's going to get harder, and trusting your equipment. So, hell, that's this video on webbing, I guess, not really part two. Too bad Moki's hiding up there, man. I'd like to see you guys see him ziplining. I gotta be careful, I'll be getting some hate. You're being mean to that cat. Whatever. All right, we'll end that there, and let's see, maybe we'll do the figure 8 knot next.